I'm Jonathan Robinson, and this is Fretbuzz. Welcome back to the Fretbuzz. I'm Jonathan Robinson. If you have never been to the Fretbuzz, it's the segment we do every week here at Casino Guitars where I sort of comb through the videos on YouTube, bring you what I think is some of the best content so that if you don't have hours to just sit and get sucked down the rabbit hole of guitardom on YouTube, you've got some cool things to watch without putting all that time into it. I always appreciate you guys watching and commenting. So with that being said, let's dive into our first video of the week. It is a dude that I love very much, a player I've been aware of for a long time. His name is Tom Quayle. The way I even figured out who Tom Quayle was years ago. I was sort of in a Wampler pedal buying spree, and I bought the Dual Fusion, and it said it was the Tom Quayle signature pedal. I had no idea who Tom Quayle was, so I looked him up, and my mind was blown. He is fantastic, sort of jazz, fusion-y, just amazing. Really cool, unique style, really fluid, really legato. I don't think I featured Tom before in the Fretbuzz, and part of that is that forever, most of his videos were, you know, by and large, they were product demos, like pedal demos or an amp or whatever. And they were cool, but they were mostly demos. And he actually said on his channel that he's going to get back into doing some videos that are not demos. I think he maybe was a little burnt out on that. And I'm really looking forward to the content he's going to put out. So if you're not aware of him, if you're not subscribed to his channel, it's a good time to sort of jump on board. And there are actually two videos I'm going to give you links for this week. One is called Lazy Finger Syndrome. And if you don't know about Tom Quayle, he plays a lot of legato technique where he's doing hammer-ons and slides and pull-offs. And he talks about that a lot of people do that and they think that it's these three fingers that sort of tend to be moving. But he's saying actually your weakest finger is your first finger, and he's got a bit of a different take on the technique as far as not anchoring your first finger. He explains it way better than I do, so I will put the link, check it out. But if you're a legato player, if you want to run those really fast, fluid, sort of jazzy, fusion-y lines, check this out. It was some really cool thoughts, I thought. I've tried to put some of the ideas into my own playing just this week from watching it. So that's great. The second one actually goes right along with that video, which is why I couldn't really pick a better or worse one. And it's just favorite legato technique. And it's all about how he plays legato and how he uses muting with his legato. And especially that if you stop anchoring your first finger, like he talks about in the first video, you've got to have a different way to sort of mute the strings when you're playing. So both super cool, both really cool about nerdy sort of cool techniques. So if you're into that, I think you'll dig it, and I think you will dig Tom Quayle and his playing regardless. So check that out. Tom Quayle, Lazy Finger Syndrome, and favorite legato technique. Video number 2 for the week is a guy named Matthew Scott. We have featured him before. He is a great player. He has a great channel. He always has really cool vintage gear. He's always sort of restoring cool, like player grade vintage guitars. This is no exception. The name of this video, and the reason that I am sort of featuring him again, is the title is I bought a 1950s Les Paul from Goodwill. So if you're a guitar player like me or any of us here at the shop, then finding an old guitar at Goodwill or a yard sale or somewhere like that for no money it's one of those like crazy, insane, dreams that we have. Like one day we're going to come across this guitar under someone's bed or in a pawn shop or whatever that's, an old Gibson or an old Fender, and it's just going to be beat up, and we're going to buy it for no money, and we're going to fix it up, and it's going to be amazing. Well, that's essentially what Matthew Scott's video is about. Somehow he found a link to this 1950s Les Paul. It's a 1958 Junior with the two P90s. It's fantastic. I mean, just when he opens it, it just looks, it's like the stuff dreams are made of. It is a beat to heck, just little Les Paul Junior. And it's awesome, man. A 1958 Gibson Les Paul at Goodwill. That's insane. If you're a guitar player, I have to say no more. You'll watch this video. You'll dig this video. So check it out. Matthew Scott, I bought a 1950s Les Paul from Goodwill. Number 3, a guy that I have watched for a long time. He does a ton of cool demos. He always has the coolest amps on his channel, especially Marshall stuff. When I was getting into super amps, I watched, I think, a shootout that he was doing with combo amps, and that's how I became aware of his channel. Then before long, I watched a video of him where he's doing like an old, like a legit 59 bassman, and the video is something like, you know, the best Marshall tone you've ever heard. But he takes these amps that you're, you know, maybe interested in, like I said, particularly old Marshalls. He cranks them up and he lets you hear different guitars and different riffs through them with different speakers. Just gives you a good idea of what some of these cool old amps sound like at real volume, like if you were, you know, playing back in the day in a stadium with no PA system or, you know, micing your amp through stacks. So really cool. But on this one, he's actually exploring, in the name of the video is Billy Gibbons' 1970s guitar rig demo, 1963 Fender Brown Face Deluxe amp. So in the 70s, I think a big part of Billy Gibbons' tone was a 1963 Fender Brown Face Deluxe amp. Apparently that fact is maybe a little bit, you know, debated, but at least it is believed, I guess, that a big part of that sound in the 70s for ZZ Top was a 63 Fender Brown Face Deluxe. You get to hear it in the video. He makes a good case for it. He gets some great tones. They definitely are, you know, 70s ZZ Top kind of vibes. So whether or not it's the right amp, it sounds great. It's a fun video, and I think if you go down the rabbit hole of Johan Segborn's other stuff, I hope I'm saying his name right, I'm probably not, but that's the dude's channel, Johan Segborn, or Segborn. You'll dig it. It's just, if you dig old amps and cool tones, you will enjoy his videos. Some really cool comparisons. I learned a ton about different amps with different speakers every time I watch his videos, so check that out. Billy Gibbons' 1970s guitar rig demo, 1963 Fender Brown Face Deluxe amp. Number 4, also an amp video. It's on That Pedal Show, and I think we've done a video from That Pedal Show again. They're a really widely known channel. I thought this was a cool video. They're comparing a Fender 65 reissue deluxe reverb to the new Tone Masters. So they had a really cool take on it. I love how detailed they go when they compare the two amps. If you're thinking about a modeling amp and you're thinking about the Tone Masters in particular, if you don't know, the Tone Masters, Fender came out with them last year, I believe. Basically a twin and a deluxe reverb. They're not tubed at all. They look pretty much just like the tube versions, but they are modeling, but instead of a gazillion amp models, they're just supposed to sound like a deluxe reverb or the twin if you get it. But they have ways to scale down the power so that you can get sort of a cranked twin or cranked deluxe sound at really low volumes. They take pedals well. We actually do have them in the shop. I dig them and enjoy them. So I just found this video interesting. They came to some cool conclusions. I will let you watch it to see what those things were. For number 5, we're gonna do something a little bit different today. Usually I have five or so videos from the last week. Obviously, in the guitar world this week, it would be crazy if we didn't talk about the loss of one of the absolutely most legendary rock guitarists of all time, Mr. Eddie Van Halen. That was absolutely tragic and heartbreaking to lose him at only 65 years old. I know most of the YouTube community pretty broken up about it if they're guitar players. So many of these big channels and these great players that we all watch are influenced by Van Halen. So instead of picking a video, I just thought I would link some of my favorite ones. So number 5 is really another 5 videos that I'm not gonna go into big detail about. I'm just gonna link them, let you watch them. I think they're things you'll enjoy, hearing stories about, you know, Van Halen's life and just what Eddie meant to some of these huge channels, their thoughts on his passing. I'm gonna put Music Is Win. Obviously, you can tell that guy's influenced by Eddie, a great player. So he's chatting about it, talking about it. Michael Palmisano, who we just put in a Fretbuzz last week, he's actually watching the whole Live Without a Net show. So you get to see Eddie live, you get to see him react to it, talk about it, do his sort of normal thing, and it's a really touching tribute to Eddie, and you get to see Eddie sort of in all his glory live, which I think is magical. Rick Beato, of course, has a live stream. I'll link that. There was a really cool Eddie Van Halen collection on Letterman by a guy named Don Giller. That's a great thing. You get to see all these sort of appearances that Eddie made. And again, see him playing live, which I think is fantastic. And then number 5, Tim Pierce, a channel that you guys know that I love, and I hope you do too, where he has one called A Few Brief and Wonderful Encounters with Eddie Van Halen. So really interesting. He's had cool, brief encounters with everyone, and I always love the way he tells stories. And then, of course, the jam track this week is it's from Fuse Guitar. It's a Van Halen style backing track in E. I did a take. I am not Van Halen. I cannot play any Van Halen songs note for note. I've never tried, but still the influence, even on me, pretty undeniable. So check out my take on it. I'll put the link there too. If you do a take, tag Casino Guitars, Jonathan Robinson Music, and maybe hashtag the Fretbuzz so that I can find it. I would love to see what you guys do and maybe feature a few of them on our Instagram page or in the next Fretbuzz video. Like always, check out The Beard Struggle. If you've got a beard and you want some cool beard products, my discount code is JRMusic15. Hit like and subscribe, hit the bell so that you get all of our videos that we come out with. We've been putting out a ton lately, lots of new product demos and all sorts of other good things. As always, I appreciate you watching and love your comments. I always try to answer as many as I can. So let me know what you think of the videos. Let me know if you have suggestions. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week on the next episode of the Fretbuzz.